This earnings season has been amazing and the markets are really loading up. Now think about this, 86% of companies have blasted through EPS, which is earnings per share expected. Then another 75% of companies have blasted through revenue that was expected from Wall Street. Now I want you to think about something for a second. The NASDAQ was like 10% in correctionatory. Now it's only 2% away from all-time high. The S&P 500 keeps on now hitting new all-time highs. Now the market is rotating. So I want to talk about in this video today, what pockets of the market are really shining. I want to talk about some bullish signals that I'm seeing in the market with inflation slowing down, with some good CPI data, and I'll walk us through that. It's your boy, the Wall Street Trapper, man. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with somebody. Help us get 2,000 likes in this chat so that we can help y'all and we can grow this in the algorithm. Let's go. So the first thing I want to really talk about is Warren Buffett. Now, this is key. This is a bullish signal, and here's why. Because Warren Buffett, for the first time since 2022, has now become what's called a net buyer of stocks, which means he's buying more than he's selling. Now, he spent about, $23 billion of about $4.5 billion of those dollars went to him buying back stock, but another $10 billion went to them buying Alphabet stock. That's right. He spent about $10 billion on Alphabet stock. Now, he spent about $5 billion on Class A shares at around $351, and he spent about another $5 billion on Class C shares at about $48. Now, when you think about that, why is that bullish? Well, Warren Buffett hasn't been a net buyer, meaning he hasn't been buying stocks. He's really just been sitting on cash on the side. Well, when Warren Buffett gets back into the market, that is something. Now, I also want to talk about what I think people are overlooking, right? We have a strong earnings season. That is true, but we also have seen the S&P 500 not really fall. So the sellers have truly been into technology. Now, again, we did see technology hit, a nice correction at about 10%, but it was mostly in one part of technology, mostly in the memory side, and some more in the I'm gonna say this, in the AI side, right? And we saw software, your Microsoft, your Adobe, your Snows, your Datadog, your cybersecurity stocks. We saw these stocks really, really shine. Now these stocks are hitting all-time high with Microsoft finally above $400. Now that is critical. On the flip side of that, we saw Palantir rally off of monster earnings. And then we also saw stocks like MU, SNDK, STX. We saw these stocks really take a hard fall. But now, as of lately, these stocks have now turned around. Now, let's think about something before we get into the full stocks that I want to talk to you about. First, you got to think about it, right? We had some good CPI data that came out that was really good. You had some pretty decent job data. Now, the thing about the job data is this. As crazy as it may sound, you need the market to lose jobs so the Fed don't hit inflation with a rate hike. Now, rate hikes are not good for the market because that means everything is more expensive. Now, we all seeing Trump and Iran just shut deals down, so that can be bearish, but I think the time is the market just want to go crazy. And so I've said this maybe a month ago. I was like, it's about that time because most people think that August is going to be bad. Most people think September is going to be bad. We had such a brutal June and July, so I truly felt like this was going to be a golden opportunity. So let's talk about that part of the market where I see the most upside in, and I'll say it's in the data center side. That's right, because when we look at companies like HP, which is Hewlett Packard, companies like Dell, they really sell the picks and shovels when it comes to building AI infrastructure. And so those two companies truly stuck out to me. So I want to break that down. So Hewlett Packard Enterprise, HPE, let's talk about what they really do. Forget about the laptop that you may have owned for them over the time. This is truly a different company because what they do not is they sell primarily to businesses and governments of large organizations. Think about it like this. Let's say JP Morgan, right? Let's say they wanted to build them some AI infrastructure. Well, they need computers and they need somewhere to store all that data. And then all of those computers need to communicate to each other. Well, HPE, which is Hewlett Packard, they sell servers, they sell storage, they sell networking, and they sell services. Well, what is a server, Trap? Well, it's basically a powerful computer designed to work all day and serve all the other computers. That's right. So your iPhone, you have one person using it. We know that. Well, a server could be helping thousands of millions of users simultaneously. And I want you to think about a data center contains thousands of them, right? And so how does AI come into this? Well, it requires enormous amount of computing power. And so as companies build more and more AI infrastructure, they need more service, they need more storage, and they need more networking. And that's where HPE, Hewlett Packard, has leverage, because its acquisition of Juniper Networks, which it did that not long ago, made the networking part of the story much more important. And last quarter, it reported about $10.7 billion in revenue, including $7.2 billion in AI and cloud and $2.7 billion in network. And so I want you to think about this. Hewlett Packard becomes a slept-on company. It's not egregious of a price. Now, inside of the cloud and AI service alone generated 5.5, which is up about 33% year over year. But the data center network and revenue grew more than 200%. So think about it like this. HPE sells the equipment needed to build the AI factory, and more AI factories being built essentially means more customers for HPE. And that's why I like it. I think it's at a huge upside, and it's recovering really good on our chart. The next stock I want to look at is Dell. Now, I know a lot of new investors think of another laptop company, but that's only part of the business. Dell has actually become one of the major companies building the AI service system. That's right. So let's just understand it like this. Nvidia makes the GPU, but a company can't just buy 1,000 or 10,000 loose Nvidia chips and say, okay, we have a data center. Those chips have to become part of a complete system. So you'll need GPUs, you'll need CPUs, you'll need memory, you'll need storage, you'll need networking, you'll need cooling, and you'll need server racks, right? So Dell puts pieces together to the system for companies that actually they deploy it, right? So think about it like this. Nvidia is making an image like the powerful engine, right? Well, Dell helps the vehicle around the engine, and that business is exploding because last time Dell reported, they reported $43.3 billion in revenue. And the infrastructure solutions, well, another $29.3 billion. So Dell recognized it, right? At $16.1 billion in AI optimized server and revenue. That's what we're gonna focus on. And now they expected to make $60 billion in AI servers by 2027. Then Dell helps turn AI chips into usable AI factories. So think about it like this. Nvidia sells the engine, Dell helps ensemble the machine. And so third on the list would be companies like IREN. Now, they're not the picks and shovels, but they are essential. But we are dealing with a completely changing business model right here. IREN was primarily trying to sell servers, but then IREN wants to own and operate the infrastructure where computing happens, right? And here's how I explain that to you. Imagine AI companies are saying, we need an enormous warehouse, but not just any warehouse. They need land, they need electricity, they need cooling, they need data center infrastructure, thousands of GPUs, and that's all expensive to build. While IREN has spent years acquiring, and that's what makes them incredibly valuable. So power, historically, I want you to think about this. IREN used much of its infrastructure during Bitcoin mining. Now, Bitcoin mining requires enormous amount of electricity and computing for the infrastructure. Then AI exploded. And now that's the basic advantage. They have land, they have power, and they have data centers. And that can be used for AI computing. So IREN's evolution isn't essentially Bitcoin mining. It's data center infrastructure. And then you have the AI cloud compute. And that's why it's Microsoft's deal that was so important. It provided major commercial validation for AI strength, right? So how does IREN make money? Well, imagine Microsoft needs enormous amounts of computing power. Well, instead of Microsoft waiting years to land security, electricity, and construct, they call IREN. IREN builds the infrastructure, installs the GPUs, and Microsoft buys access to the computing capacity. Now, IREN owns, operates infrastructure, customer use component, and customer service pays. So they're very, very difficult from Dell. Dell can make money selling the equipment. IREN wants recurring revenue from operating equipment. Two different things. Now, IREN is trying to stay electric because they understand that cloud computing is going to be the thing. Now, last on my list is none other than NBIS, which is probably the company that requires the most explanation. Now, hear me out. An AI version cloud provider. That's one. And most people use cloud computing without realizing it, right? They don't think Netflix is physical computer. Instead, it's your house showing you movies. But companies are renting out resources, hear me out here, for huge and enormous cloud providers. Now, I want you to think about something. All companies from the AI space need the same thing, except they need massive GPU computing power. Now, NBIS provides that infrastructure. A startup might say, I don't know, we want to buy an AI model, but we can't afford but 500 million. NBIS comes in and says, sure, we'll provide all the AI, the GPUs, and the computing, and the storage, and the networking, and the subware, and the substack, and the software, and other infrastructure required to train the AI models. But you can't train it yourself. We got to do it. And the thing about renting apartments, instead of buying the land, building an apartment, and maintaining the apartment, you simply just run the apartment down. You work and have loud meals all day. So instead of buying a GPU, finding electricity, build data center, instead of cooling, instead of building network, companies can now rent NBIS. And it is a growing company with growing revenue. I think about this in 2026, results was released that yesterday they showed continued expansion in management in high awful areas of the business with $1 billion in free cash. And that's telling us major customers aren't worth waiting for the price to catch up. Now, to put the pieces of the puzzle together, think about it like this. Imagine Coca-Cola decide to build a giant internal AI system. They need computing, they need to build themselves, they need customer buy, and they need GPUs. That puts those GPUs inside of Dell, HP servers. Use HP servers for networking. You buy, rent, and sell data. You secure electricity, and you install cooling. 100%. And then you hire engineers. And then once you hire engineers, you run everything else. And so the goal of HPE, NBIS, Dell, and HPE is to get you to think outside of the box just a little bit, right? And because of that, I'm going to leave out. It's your brother, Wall Street Trapper. Salute.